Hello everyone, I am CA Vibhuti Narang. Welcome to our channel Voxcow Academy. In today's video, we'll be covering the part 3 of income under the head profit and gains from business and profession. This part is the last part which we'll be discussing for expenses which are allowed as deduction under this head. Before that, we have done part 1 and part 2. Part 1 was wholly dedicated on section 28, which told about us the relevant sections, which the topics which are covered under the head income, which we can treat them as income. Part 2 was wholly on depreciation, and this will cover the miscellaneous sections on which the expenses are allowed under this act. So if I talk about the content which we were covering, the first part is done, the second is the expenses allowed, and this is the last topic which we are covering for this expenses allowed part. Then in the next video we'll be having expenses disallowed and then presumptive taxation, partnership and cooperative taxation. So starting with today's topics and section, the first is section 35, which is expenditure on scientific research. So for any country, the economy will grow when there is a good technology or a good investment or infrastructure being developed. Now to have a growth in the economy, a new scientific research, or you can say the research and development on a product is required. Whether you go for automobile industry, whether you go for technical industries, for laptops, mobiles, or any FMCG product, definitely a research and development is required, whether there is a demand for that product or not, whether that will be able to adopt it in the Indian culture or not, or any country's culture or not. So for learning these things and for knowing whether the product is suitable for the market or not, a research and development team is being built by the company or the organization. Now these type of scientific research, so it is a research and development, the government has named it as scientific research. These type of scientific research can be of two types. First could be, it can be in-house research or your own research, which can be done within the organization of the SSC, within the company of the SSC, and a dedicated team is working on that research and development. The second is the SSC can contribute or donate to a third party organization who are dedicatedly doing in these works. Right. Now, if we are doing in-house research, then first thing is it should be related to the business, and secondly there are some approved research companies. The deduction is available for some manufacturing or biotech companies who are into in-house or own research purposes. Now, for these two types of categories, any of these, it can be either related to the business or they are approved research by the manufacturing or biotechnology company. Two types of deductions are available. One is of capital nature and the second is of revenue nature. Capital nature deduction is available at the rate 100% for the first year itself except for land. So if you are purchasing any land, then the deduction is not available, but other than land, any capital expenditure done by the SSC is 100% deductible. If we talk about revenue expenditure, if that expenditure has been done after the commencement of the business, definitely when a business idea or a startup spark into a mind, the sale or the production do not start immediately. It is a many months or years of dedicated work which brings the fruitful result at the end. Now, any expenditure done before the commencement of the business, on that expenditure prior to 3 years, only today is the commencement date, 3 years before the commencement date, the salary and material part is allowed as deduction at the rate 100%, and after commencement any expenditure done for the scientific research is again 100% deductible. Now why such kind of deductions or expenditures are being allowed is just to motivate the organization or the SSC to do more and more of R&D and to get the best products in the market. So the government wants that the country should grow, and more the research is done, the more the economy will grow. So that is why, to motivate these things, these kind of expenditures are allowed. The next is if they are contributing or donating to any approved research in universities, colleges for scientific or statistical, social statistical research, or a contribution is done to national laboratories, IIMs, IITs, Indian company which is having scientific research as its main business objective. To any of these organization, any donation is done by the assessee, 100% deduction is allowed. Earlier weighted deduction was there, but from financial year 2021 it is streamlined to 100% deduction only. Earlier 150% was there for some researches, but now it is 100% for all types of research. Now the important thing is what will be the treatment if the asset which has been put to use in the scientific research development and being sold after the use. Now there can be two things in it. First of all, the asset is as of now at nil value because the 100% depreciation or reduction was given in the first year of investment. First thing is that the asset is transferred to the normal business. Now it is not being used in the research and development. For example, a machinery was being installed for knowing whether the product can be produced through this machine or not. If the production was successful in the research time, it may be transferred to the normal business after the commencement. So in that case, the machine value will be nil in the block of asset, but when it is sold, it will be deducted as per the normal rules of section 32. But if let's suppose the asset is no more used in the block of asset or in the normal business and it is sold in the open market, then what happens is the current value, as we all know, it is nil because 100% deduction is available till the value the cost of the asset is involved. For example, a asset was purchased at 50 lakh rupees. Now the asset is sold for 40 lakh rupees, let's suppose. Then 40 lakhs will be your PGBP income. But if the asset is sold for 60 lakh rupees, so till the cost of the asset will be PGBP income, that is 50 lakh. The balance 10 lakh rupees over and above the cost of the asset will be your capital gain. So till cost value of the asset, it is PGBP. Sale price becomes more than the cost of the asset, it will become a capital gain. So this was about section 35 on scientific research. There are three expenditure linked incentives which I talked about in part 2 also. These types of incentives are, first is agriculture extension services, then any skill development, rural development program. The two cases, first and last, agriculture extension can be done by any SSE and rural development also can be done by any SSE. But skill development expenditure needs to be done by a company SSE. 100% deduction, again it has been streamlined to 100% from financial year 2021. Earlier it was 150%. Now the next thing is 35 AD. See, for the country, infrastructure wise, there are many businesses which are very crucial for the economy. If there is an agriculture produce being done, to store that produce, a warehouse is required. If any product is there which can by time deteriorate by nature, a cold chain facility is required. Might be there is a fertilizer production plant is required, hotels are required, hospitals are required. So there are 13 to 14 types of businesses which are very specified in nature, and any investment done in these types of businesses, the government promotes or gives deduction for these type of businesses. What is the deduction? Is 100% deduction in the first year. That is, the moment the capital expenditure is done, 100% is allowed as deduction except for land, goodwill and financial instrument. So these will be normal. For land there is no depreciation, financial instrument also again no depreciation, goodwill from now onwards no depreciation on goodwill also. So 100% capital expenditure on rest of the assets is available in the first year itself. Now, to claim this 35 AD, that is investment in specified business deduction, there are some conditions to be met. The first is the business should not be formed by splitting up or reconstruction of an existing business. So there should not be a split up or an amalgamation, demerger sort of a thing. From the existing business, it should be a new startup. Second, it should not be from transfer of used plant and machinery. So only 20% used plant and machinery is allowed. For example, a 1 lakh rupees capital expenditure is done on the specified business capital expenditure, then 20,000 is allowed as used plant and machinery and rest 80,000 will be allowed as normal or new plant and machinery. If there is any imported plant and machinery, it will be treated as new for the section of 35 AD. there is a concept that the asset which is being used for specified business should be held for 8 years in the same business. So there are cases an SSE is doing a specified business also and non-specified business also. He may be into production of fertilizer, he may be into production of cotton or production of textile, any other thing which is not specified business. He may use the plant and machinery used in the specified business to non-specified business. So there is a lock-in period of 8 years. For 8 years that asset needs to be used in the specified business. Otherwise, if in the middle you are just transferring it to any other use or you are selling the asset, then the total deduction claimed, like let's suppose the asset was of 1 lakh rupees and the transfer was done in the 5th year. So for those 5 years, the deemed depreciation will be charged. So whatever will be the existing rate of the depreciation for the 5 years, depreciation will be deducted. The balance will be treated as your PGBP income. Now we need to understand some amortization of preliminary expenses. So for any business to start, there are some expenses done before the commencement of business. It can be to generate a feasibility report, whether the technical or the social, economical, regulatory, tax compliances, all those things are feasible for the company to be incorporated. A feasibility report is required. So the preparation of that report bears a cost for that. So if that expenditure is there, that's a preliminary expenses, or it can be any printing of article of association or memorandum of association in case of companies, any legal fees paid for the same, any expenditure which is related to shares or debentures issue, then market survey or engineering services or any other as notified expenditure done for preliminary expenses. There is an amortization or deduction is available. Now this deduction is available in this sense. First thing, it is not available to a foreign company. So it is available only to a resident assessee or an Indian company. If it is an Indian company or a resident assessee, the eligible expenses maximum limit will be. Now, if it is not an Indian company, only a resident assessee, then lower of actual expenditure or 5% of project cost is available as deduction. What happens is project cost is fair market value of the assets or fixed assets being employed in the business. So whatever will be the lower value, that is 5% of project cost or actual expenditure, will be available as preliminary expenses. In case of an Indian company, the lower part will be calculated later and you need to first compare your 5% of project cost with 5% of capital employed. Now capital employed will include only share capital and long-term borrowings. Reserves are not included in this. So whichever is higher will be compared with the actual expenditure. Both of them which will be lower will be your actual or eligible expense which will be amortized. Why the word amortization is used? Because this benefit is not for the first year. It is equally available in 5 financial years. So deduction available in 5 equal installment. For example, an amortization of preliminary expense comes out to be 50,000 rupees. So 10,000 deduction for 5 continuous years will be available to the assessee. Next we need to understand is other deductions under section 36. So from 32 you can say 30, section number 29, 30, 32 and so on, there were specific sections, right? Some was for repairs, some was for depreciation, then deductions, investments. Now this section is other deductions which are not that specified. What kind of other deductions which are available is if there is any insurance premium being paid for stocks or shares or from the primary milk cooperative society for the life of cattle of the members. Then by the normal assessee for the health of the employees, the employer is paying an insurance and this insurance should be paid in any mode other than cash. So that deduction is allowed. Beside that, if a bonus is given to the employee, bonus or commission, so if it is in nature of any profit or a dividend part, deduction is not available. But if it is given for the normal business or commission, then there is a concept of section 43B which comes into existence. This 43B will be discussing in part 4, but for your basic understanding you can understand that section number 43B says that A deduction is allowed only on actual payment basis. Otherwise, under income tax, we follow the concept of due basis. Once an expense is due or income is due, it is being recognized. But some expenses are only available as deduction, or income is deemed only when it is being actually paid. So 43B says that if the amount is paid till the return filing due date, it is allowed as deduction in that financial year. If it is not paid, then it will be not allowed as deduction. The next is any interest which is being paid on borrowed capital by the business or profession. Now this capital or this amount can be borrowed for two reasons. For running business, if we say any amount which is being borrowed for any running business like bank overdraft, the interest will be allowed as deduction. But if it is being borrowed for purchase of new asset, either for the running business or for the new business, then the asset from the date of purchase to the date of use, put to use of the asset, the interest on that loan amount will be capitalized. Rest after the put to use, whatever interest has been borne on that asset will be allowed as deduction under section 36. But again, it will be subject to section 43B. That means if it is paid till the income tax return due date, it will be allowed as deduction. If it is not paid till the income tax return due date, it will be not allowed as deduction. The next important thing is any employer which is contributing for any recognized provident fund, superannuation fund, gratuity fund, national payment scheme, national pension scheme, notified pension scheme. So any such contribution being done by the employer is very well allowed under section 36. But let's suppose if the employer is paying on the behalf of employee for such recognized funds before the due date, then also it will be allowed as may give his share to the employer to be paid by the employer. So when the share of employee is received by the employer, it is his income. To claim it as deduction, he has to pay it before the due date. That is section 43B. The next important thing is about bad debts. So whenever any debtor is not being paid on time, or in the future we know that we will not be recovering any amount from the debtor, it becomes a bad debt. So whenever we do a sale, the entry we pass is party account debit to sales account. Now what happens is whenever the amount is not recoverable from that assessing, we pass an entry bad debt account debit to party account. If the party account is being credited, that means you are fully sure that you are not going to recover any amount and there is no provision against it. In that case, the deduction is allowed. But if a provision is made, that is, we have an expectation to realize some amount and the balance amount is being made provision, we may or may not realize that amount, then that amount is not allowed as deduction under section 36. Now 36 was again a very other deductions, but there are some general deductions which are allowed. But what this expenditure says about that, this should not be any capital nature expenditure, should not be for any personal use, and should be not be covered under any other section, but should be incurred only for the business or profession, and it is not for any illegal or unlawful purpose. So there can be many expenses like rent is there, audit fees is there, or you can say any lease amount is paid, newspaper magazine expenditure. These type of expenditures are not of capital nature. They are not for personal expenses. They are not covered under any section, but they are for the business and they are not unlawful or illegal. So if it is not covered under any clause, it will be covered under section 37, one that is journal deductions. One important thing to be noted down is corporate social responsibility. CSR is not an expenditure. It is not treated as an expense for business profession, and hence it is no deduction is allowed under section 37. 1. There are two more small things which we need to understand. One is the securities transaction tax and commodities transaction tax, to be more discussed in detail under the head capital gain. But if any such tax is paid which is capital gain in nature, for the asset which is in capital gain in nature, then no deduction is allowed. It will be a dead loss. But if the asset is PGBP in nature, or for any stocks or shares something, then deduction is allowed. One confusing point again is there regarding the advertisement expenditure. Now, advertisement expenditure, if it is done for any brochure or pamphlet to be published by the political party, in that case it is not allowed under PGBP, but deduction is allowed under section 80 GGB and GGC. But beside this, if any expenditure is done other than for political parties, then it is allowed under section 37(1), right? So all this topic which I have covered today is available on my website under the curriculum part. The PDF is available. It is available under basic income tax as well as advanced income tax. So if you want to check out, you can just check it out. You can follow Voxcov Academy on Facebook, Twitter and LinkedIn. And please subscribe to my channel. I have seen many people come. They watch the video. It's very good for us if you watch the video and getting knowledge through that. But you can please subscribe to the channel for future updates and notification. That's all for today's video. Have a good day. Bye.